leading up to the very first service, um, everything that transpired leading up to it, um, the morning of, which
Week
was
of.
yeah, I thought I said that. Yeah, the week of, leading up to it, the morning of, and the aftermath, which was it was an eventful event. You know, it was very, very frustrating.
It was exhilarating too. Yeah. I guess for you, it definitely would have been frustrating, considering, you know, the visionary, right? That's not what you envision.
Right.
So I can understand.
One of the transparencies is that, like the day before or 2 days before, we got into a big argument, and
It was miscommunication, just a
which
misunderstanding.
led to a big argument.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so. It wasn't necessarily the argument that happened because we have arguments all the time because it's her fault. But it was the comment that was said, and the comment threw me off. And I'm like, okay, if that's the comment that you're gonna make, I know everybody like, well, what was the comment? I'm trying to see if I want to, if that naked or transparent.
It's naked.
That's naked. So let me say this.
But
Let me say it this way. The
let me
support.
talk. Let me talk.
Okay, you
Let me
go
say
ahead.
something. Let me talk. So, uh,
Now this is the week before, the day before, maybe 2 days before the actual.
I don't think it was that
No, it's
soon.
like Thursday,
I think it was a Wednesday.
Wednesday. So, anyways,
It was Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it happened
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Tuesday.
No.
It
It was
was
Thursday.
Tuesday. It was
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All right, Tuesday.
Tuesday. So yeah, it was Tuesday evening, and then Wednesday, it kind of bled over to the new day, and then we still was discussing, and then I know it was resolved on Thursday because it wasn't that soon. It was like a big break.
Right.
Um, but yeah, whenever you are um, doing something great, in particular, in our case for the Lord, it'll be. We knew that something was going to happen. We just didn't think it would be this misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was the transparent version is I was in plight to assist Patrick, but my help wasn't helpful at that time, and it was misunderstood. Um, um, so yeah, but at any rate, it, it it happens, and so when you take a step back to look at um, how it could have been, done differently, or the time and the tone and all of that, the attitude, all of that, you correct it. And so I believe that we've learned from it and recovered from it.
I think one of the things that we always advise people in terms of time, tone, and um,
Attitude.
right, the timing and the tone, and the text.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of those, we followed none of our advice that day. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, not that day.
Yeah, that day was terrible. So
Learning how to overcome adversity.
right, and keep moving. And again, those are just decisions. You make the decision that that's what you're going to do, that you're going to overcome. But it takes both parties to really make it work well.
And then you got this working too. So you got equipment, uh, you
Failure.
got, yeah, you got equipment, you got trying to figure it out, you
Mm-hmm.
still trying to balance home, ministry, career, family. You got a lot of stuff, a lot of components. So it's not just like easy breezy, right? Whatever that is. But basically, it's a lot of moving parts and little small gears and little things that add up.
Right.
Yep.
So the room's too small. We don't know how to connect the mic, which is a wireless mic to the actual camera. So now I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do now. So we have to use the mic that we're using now. That, why is that too much information?
I don't know. I'm on the mic. Like if I don't want to hear all that, the mic and the camera. I don't know. I'm just talking.
All right, so we're using the mic that, and it has to stretch all the way to me. And I got to make sure the mic is the same. Blah 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 blah. We finished the sermon. We like.
Wait a minute, listen, y'all. Patrick. Side note: this was so funny. So Patrick come out. He ready to record. He thought he was sharp to life. Do you hear me?
Yeah, that's funny.
His son sent him back. They was like, "Where you going with that?" Hilarious.
Right.
The children, the Harrington children, have come through clutch. They made sure. It was like, "What y'all doing?" Like, okay, come on, y'all, get out yourself. Come on.
You know me. I'm 47. Man, listen.
He came out with a shirt. They joned him so bad.
I'm aware of what I wear. Yeah, but my children.
Like, what are those? They raw.
Made me go back. So now I got to change clothes because my children like, Dad, you're not wearing it. I'm like, I am wearing. I'm 47. I wear what I want to wear. Like, nope. So I go back and put something else on. Anyway. So we finish, and as we are reviewing what happened, there's a smudge on the TV. I saw everything. Now I am a perfectionist.
Yeah, well, let me say this. I always tell Patrick, though, that he's a barber. So as a barber, to me, his eyes are, he see things a lot differently. And so where many of us would be just like, okay, what's the big deal? Look good to me. And many of you probably didn't even see what he saw.
Or if you saw it, you really didn't pay attention to it.
You ain't pay attention to it. But Patrick, he saw it immediately.
Right. Anyway, so there's a smudge on the corner of the TV. There's a part where I do like a 2020 version. In that part, it just says 2020 version. When you go back and look at it. When you go back, you see my son in the back reacting to some of the stuff I'm saying. He's behind the camera.
You see the
equipment. My wife is on the side. You see everything. The things. All right, so we finished that. We decide. So it's like, okay, it was just so much. There was something else we needed to really complete the thing, and we didn't have that in time.
That the stores didn't have it. They said they had it. And if it shipped, it was gonna be after the due date.
The due date, yeah. A lot of things that was just not in my control that I couldn't control.
And plug in right there. Let me say this. I know that we are not in-person worshiping together in the churches. Let me tell you, if you have access to your pastor and his wife, man, encourage them. Like this ain't sissy stuff. You trying to figure out technology. You trying to overcome your own personal adversities. Like you still trying to keep it together. You got weekly deadlines to meet. Because if it is not met, I'll say hour delay or whatever, it delays everything.
Correct.
You got to upload and download and reload and readjust and all that and still smile and still cook and still, all that.
Yeah.
Tell them if you don't have their number, inbox them or message them or whatever you need to do, but you need to let them know that you appreciate them. Put it like this, what you see every Sunday morning or Zooming or whatever, whenever y'all go.
Right.
Or we go. Listen, that's some serious work. It's serious.
Right.
It dawned on me. And a lot of times you don't know all of the work until you enter their work.
Correct.
So I want to say to all the people that I know that I've been to your ministry or I've viewed the ministry, like different broadcasts and stuff. I appreciate your hard work.
Yeah. So this would be a time, hopefully, that I can plug in all of the ministries we've been a part of, and I want to shout out to everybody. I really do. So initially, the first church we were part of was the Church of the Word, Worship, and Praise with Elder Sullivan, and there we learned. Here's how I'm labeling it. Y'all got to pay attention. We learned law, meaning we learned the Word. We learned how to rightly divide the word of God.
Without all the bells and whistles.
Correct. No, you good. No, you good.
Without all the bells and whistles, no fluff.
Yeah, we didn't have.
It was, the way I can describe it, it was green, turnip greens, it was the hot water cornbread, it was pinto beans. You know what I mean? It's those meals you don't want to eat. It was that you need this liver, rice, and gravy. You better figure it out. You gonna eat it, and you ain't leaving the table till you done.
Right.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.
So there we learned. We learned how to write. We learned how to dig in. We didn't have internet. You had books. When I used to prepare for sermons, or we didn't even prepare for sermons, just for studying, man,
you had the Strong's Concordance, the big thick one.
Right.
You had the big thick dictionary.
Right.
You had to have a spiral notebook, your highlighter, your several pens, because you're going to run out of ink. Right. It was that kind of serious. Papers, we had to do them papers.
Yeah, we had to do research papers.
You hear
on
me?
People
yes.
And characters and certain words we had to learn.
Yeah.
We had to find 2 scriptures to support anything that was quote unquote doctrinal.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, even though it was the doctrine, he was more so like, Elder Sutherland was like, don't trust his word, dig into the word, find out.
And you better come with it. Don't come just talking about because I don't like the way. You better show me
Find
in
me
the text.
2 scriptures, because the truth will be established out of the mouth of 2 or more witnesses. Find me 2 scriptures, in particular, old and new, that support what you're saying is right or wrong.
Amen. Yeah. And so, like when you think about, when I reflect back, when I look at like our Bible study, theology, he was a preaching professor. Do you hear me? We couldn't come with that. Don't come with that crap. He was determined. Don't talk out of context. Don't put Joseph with the burning bush.
It was definitely a great foundation that was built.
Wherever you are, the spirit of that place, it is going to show up. It don't just the spirit just at the church. Like wherever you find yourself fellowshipping and feeding from,
that's good.
That's exactly what you're going to exude. So be careful where you place your feet and where you take your seat.
Yeah.
At whose table you sitting at. Everybody can cook, but it's that meal for everybody. No.
Hope was having a church development network. And so let's go out to Hope. Let's spy out the land to see what Hope is doing. And so we got out there, and this was maybe a year before Pastor Rufus got there. So we're a year, and I think Pastor Craig gets to pastor at that time. And my children, it felt good. It felt good. And I said, okay. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, this is nice. My children who don't like cleaning their room want to clean this big old sanctuary.
After every service.
Right.
You hear me? It's called a scrubs ministry.
Right.
They was there scrubbing.
Yeah.
You hear me? I'm talking about smiles and all.
So there at Hope, we learn how to love people. Check this out. Right where they are. In hopes of loving them from where they are. Amen. In terms if they were in a place that was not a good place. And so we just learn how to just embrace people, the way they look and the way they dress and,
their life choices.
Yeah, just whatever it is, we're going to love you. Now, we may not agree with everything, but we love you right where you are. And from there, I got restored too, because in that transition from where I was to at the house, man, we kind of took some hits. And
that was a test too of our love and commitment to the Lord too. When you experience things of your own choices or from other people, let's just be real. You will know what you're made of, and you will know you'll know that your love for the Lord is there. Because I believe people are used of the enemy to test that.
Right.
I'm sure he can use whatever, but people, definitely.
All right, so yeah, Hope.
I'm proud of you for overcoming it too. Those little small things.
No, it's in the mic. Did you want it to be in the mic? Okay. So at Hope, thanks to Pastor Rufus and Pastor Craig and Pastor Eli, we learned love. So you have law, you have love. We go to innovation. And under Pastor Myron, we learned labor. Hope allowed us to get the finished product of what happens. The love,
Yes.
the labor of love.
Yes.
When I got to innovation,
It was the nuts
I
and
got
bolts.
I got the behind the scenes
Yeah.
of all of the things it take to run a successful ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No days off. It's continual. It's emotion.
yeah,
It's yeah, that's true.
and all those. So that's and I say that's where we learned sweat the small stuff under Pastor Myron Thomas. From innovation, now there's a transition period, and we're about to transition into Inspired Church. And this is a year-long transition, and we found a place where what's it called, watch care member. So at Memphis Metro, under Pastor Matthew Lee, that's kind of where the liberty came from.
Yes.
All right. So you got law, you got love, you got labor, and then you got liberty.
Yes.
And we kind of learned how to be ourselves, how to be free. Even for the way I've always seen preaching done at a particular style. But then when I told Pastor Matt this, I think last week, when I saw him do it, it was like, whoa, this works. Like this normally doesn't, the style doesn't particularly work in black churches, but this worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I can be free to teach the way
the Lord has designed you to, to go forth. Amen.
So there it was like, man, listen.
Yeah, it was so much liberty.
It is what it is.
It was, and can I say still, even there, it was in Memphis Metro. You received a word, you received labor. Like we saw the labor of love. Mm-hmm. We saw it manifest. Like we never felt like, okay, well, you over there, and we didn't go in like we would. We were not planning. We weren't disguising ourselves, and they knew it and have put in so much time and effort. It wasn't just in word only. I'm talking about coming to the house. It's answering a phone call when we needed help. It's helping us to figure out or decide what we need, making best choices. But they didn't take over. I'm talking about
just freedom.
Everybody there.
The freedom to do that.
Yes.
So from the law and from the liberty that we got from the law, Church of World Worship and Praise, Elder Sullivan, Love, Hope Presbyterian, Pastor Craig, Pastor Rufus, Pastor Eli, labor. And when we say labor is not a bad term. I don't want to think.
Or law. I was thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, good. So none of those are bad things. They are what they are. But you need all of those things to help make the ministry run smooth. And then there's the liberty part. All of that allowed us the opportunity, or afforded us the opportunity, to give birth to Inspired Church, where we can truly serve the Lord. So now we get to the day of the actual service.
I don't like bugs, but I like outside.
So to the day of the service, we have the countdown, and I loaded up the service, and it took the service. Said, okay, bruh, it didn't really say it, but it said, okay, bruh, we got it. We're gonna make sure, all systems go. We're gonna make sure it go at 9:30. It's gonna, and so we're posting 30, 29, 28, 27, 5, 4, 3, 2. That one day left, 9:30 a.m. It's like,
what you doing?
Yeah.
What you think? What you thought this was?
And so I'm like, whoa, what happened? So we think maybe a delay. Maybe it's a short delay. And about a minute into it, about 2 minutes into it, I say, Mika. She said, I know, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's supposed to go.
And on top of that, he don't know this part. I'm getting text messages.
So I'm like, what?
When they start playing,
So I'm like, what is going on? Why is it not playing? And so now I'm like, oh, because I remember when we uploaded, it said I took it. The system said we good to go. It's gonna.
Received. Mm-hmm.
So we're good to go. So it's like, okay, now, and I'm watching the countdown. We're like 59, and we're excited, and it doesn't. And I listen. I I'm like pimping. This is not. This is not.
How it's
This is
supposed to
not how
be.
it's supposed to happen. This is
I'm
not how it's
telling you,
supposed to
because
be.
I like I had
And
to
I am highly.
Patrick taking over,
I'm
y'all,
highly frustrated.
and I had to tell him that it was beyond his control, meaning that he did everything on time, in the matter of time that was given. For whatever reason, the systems was like it was a failure,
Right.
and it wasn't anything of. So yeah, I was encouraging Patrick that because it required intense encouragement at that time because he was experiencing a hardship or a disappointment that was unexpected, which is what a disappointment is. Because you've done all the hard work, you did what you were supposed to do, you did it on time, you did it in time, and then it doesn't produce the expectation that you had in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That can be frustrating.
Right.
And so as we were sitting there and it was like, okay, this is a system issue. And then when he found out what the system issue was, he even got more like, oh my goodness, they didn't say this. And
Right.
so make sure that and again, remember, this is our first go round, especially with virtual church. We are not privy to the different systems that are available to us, right? There is no customer service contact number,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is email us and we'll get back with you.
Mm-hmm.
But we needed to be posted and airing or broadcasting at 9:30 a.m. Mm-mm. Nope, that's not it. You thought it was 9:30 a.m., but it's 9:30 p.m. Got to do the math. We got our a.m. and p.m. mixed up. The system decided. Let me say that the system decided p.m.
So so this is where my wife always says your help is in the house,
Oh yeah.
and the children just took over,
Yes.
and they made sure that everything went out. It was their idea to do all. So
They made their dad
what
step back. I mean,
what
like
what went
understood.
out was a result of them saying, okay, this is not working this way. Let us technologically, if that's a way to say it, let us technologically figure this out for you, and we'll take over that and we'll do this. And they did, and they figured it out, and they worked on it, and we finally pushed it out. Now, go ahead.
And that's the important thing. Like we did have to all step back as a family,
Mm-hmm.
and the definite of purpose, decision, or choice is August the 2nd is the due date.
Right.
Now, how the baby gonna be birthed? That part you don't know. And if any of you have experienced labor and delivery, right? You have your emergency bag packed. You have everything laid out. You done read the books. You done took the classes. You know how to breathe. You got your focus point. You got all that. Y'all can tell I'm kind of experienced in that. But guess what? You don't know if it's gonna be an emergency birth.
Mm-hmm.
You plan for it to go naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But then it can happen. Anything can happen. And so I would say, yeah, it was an emergency birth because it had the message had to get out.
Right.
Inspired Church had to be launched and birthed August the 2nd. We want to make sure that it's a memorable event, right?
Right.
So you plan everything accordingly. And for whatever reason in our mind, when we say, I want it to be remembered, something that we won't forget, you don't factor in the ugly part of it, like it don't load. We'll never forget that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a memorable moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the joy is, and the comfort is you know, like I was telling Patrick, it was comfort in his leadership in that we moving forward. So we began to figure it out. It was like ants in motion, like, you know, hey, serve ants. We are servant leaders. Like we started doing ant activity, you know, the little small things. Anyway, random. But yeah, we started moving and working toward what God called us to. Like nothing can stop you from that call. Nothing.
Right.
Now you can talk.
Thank you. That's pretty much it.
I'm
That
not done
was
then. If you done, then I'm not done because I do want to send some shots out.
that was the before. That was the during and the after. And so we were uploading it from Inspired Church's page. It would not upload. Let's check this out. We started trying to upload it from Inspired Church's Facebook page, and this is what Shamika talking about your 9:30s. From 9:30, we started at 9:30 a.m. It did not get properly published to Facebook on Inspired Church's Facebook page until 9:30 p.m.
We can
So
laugh now.
we had our PMs and our AMs mixed up.
Listen, for every call, every text message, every prayer, I'm talking about good thoughts. Oh, tearjerker, and there's no Kleenex around. You have no idea how that kept us going yesterday. I mean, that oh my goodness, it was something. And again, something to be remembered. Like I often reflect and think about the power of community, and the community came through, wrapped and rallied around us in the midst of uh, that disappointment. All I can say is it was a disappointment because it was totally unexpected when we had a different set of expectations out. Um, but yes, I thank everybody that took the time out to put a call in, a text message in, or you know, cards that were left on the door.
Yeah.
Like, man,
And being patient with us
gifts.
getting it out.
We received gifts like I also thank the Lord for even developing Patrick and myself. One of the things that our youngest daughter shared with us is that, you know, the frustration that we were experiencing and going through, it was to be given out, right? It's not to be held in. You're not supposed to be dismissive of a disappointment. You look at it, you own it, and you recover from it, right? And just to have your 17-year-old turn to minister back to you, like your help is really in the house. The body is designed to help nurture and give healing when it is needed. That didn't take away from the head. That didn't take away from the other members of the body. But at that time, the Lord gave her a ready word for where we needed. And it was just a blessing. Like, in my mind and in my heart, I have no doubt that all of that was the Lord's making, the lessons of in the imperfections, learning how to overcome, learning how to walk and live with definite a purpose. Like no matter what, this is for the glory of God. Like.